Hey guys, it's Julia and welcome back to my channel. And for today's video, I'm going to talk about some of the books that I read in the first half of this year. Posted was last year, I think. So happy 2025. I have about like 30 something books to talk about today. I'm gonna section it off. I have graphic novels, poetry, or only one poetry collection. I have graphic novels, novellas, books, and then at the very end I have some like fucked up novellas to talk about. I just figured I'd leave that to the end, so then, you know, if people want to leave, they can exit before I talk about those things. First up here, I have Pretty Cupid by Sarah Blue. So this is a novella series that's all about different holidays. So this was the Valentine's Day one. This one is basically about a Cupid who takes the Grim Reaper to a dance, and everyone is just in pure shock. They're like, why did you bring him? They've never had one there. Just shock. She's basically doing it to make her ex-boyfriend jealous, so it's the fake dating trope, if you guys like that. But overall, I thought it was super fun. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was super fun. I'll probably read the other ones too for the other holidays. I thought it was a cool concept. Next, I have a very different kind of novella. Well, still romance, but more romance. This is called Scream for Us by Molly Dole. This is basically a smut horror romance. So if you're into like Jason Myers and Ghostface, this is for you. This was a lot. I'm gonna have, for any book I talk about today, I'm gonna have the story graph page linked down below so that you could check out the trigger warnings if you'd like to. But this is like a dark romance, suspense, reverse harem novella. I really liked it. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was different. Anything with any of the horror icons, I'm here for. Next up, I have The Doll's House by Lisa Unker. This one is a horror short story about a woman who's grieving her husband, and you also see how that affects the child, how losing her dad has affected the child. They move into his mansion and things may not be what they seem. So it's a lot about grief and then just suspense, what's gonna happen next. I thought it was super fun and eerie. I like that we switched perspectives. We got the mom's perspective, we got the kid's perspective, and just their different views on everything, on the house and on the death and the grief process. Getting into some books. First, I have Tastes Like Candy 2. I read Tastes Like Candy last year and I really liked it. It was like the first slasher novel that I've read. So I thought it was so good. I really liked the first one. The second one. Basically, this second one takes place 5 years after the first book. I was just overall disappointed. The characters weren't that fleshed out. The story it just wasn't as strong as the first book. I just found myself not caring anymore as the book went on. I gave this 2 stars, but if you're interested in the first one, I still recommend reading the first one. Just, I wasn't into the second one. Also by that same author, Ivy Tholen, I read Mallrats. I gave this one a 2.5, but basically this one is set in 1999 and it's about this space around this big mall and people keep dropping dead in the mall. Our main character stumbles upon a body and kind of has to figure out what she's gonna do in the mall, where's the killer in the mall, what's going on. They're in kind of like a lockdown situation. So you find the first body and then is the killer still in the mall? Probably. So that's kind of what this book was about. I wasn't the biggest fan personally, but it was still an interesting read. Real quick, this is the one poetry collection that we got. This is The Day is Dark by R.H. Sin. If you've been here before, you know I've read so many of his works. Like, I'm a big fan, but the ones I've read from him recently haven't really been good anymore. Maybe it's this, maybe I'm growing out of them, I don't know. But basically, he writes modern day poetry collections about relationships and like inner struggle. This one wasn't really it though for me. As I said, I only like 1 or 2 of the poems, which out of like, you know, over 100 poems, if you only liked like 2, then I think there's maybe a disconnect. So I didn't really enjoy it that much. I have 2 romance novels to talk about next. I have Binding 13 and Keeping 13. Basically, these are high school rugby romances. I just read the first one on my phone. I thought, like let's just do a fun read. And I kept reading because it was so cute and I wanted the best for our main character. But our main character's name is Shannon. She has a really hard life so far. She had to move from her other school due to like severe bullying. She's super quiet. She just got to a new school and she meets the rugby captain through circumstances and things kind of go from there. It's a slow burn. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the first book. I thought it was super fun. I really enjoyed the first book. I thought, like, I cared about all the characters. I thought the romance was really cute. First book I gave 4 stars. The second one I gave a 3. The second one is basically about the romance after they've started dating and what comes next. I love these characters and I grow attached to all of them and their story. Next is one I didn't like. We have Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This is a popular one, so I'm sure you've heard of it. It's a smut romance. That's all I knew. I didn't know it was a age gap smut romance, which I'm not into. So I did not like this. I wasn't into the 19-year-old girl and 38-year-old man. Was not into it. It was like basically her boyfriend's father. They're just not for me. That's what I learned about this book. These romances are just not for me. Next up here, I read Good Game by Madison Fogg. Basically, our main character Stevie meets this masked streamer guy named Blade. His identity needs to remain a secret because him and his gaming crew, who are quite famous, they have never done a face reveal, so they all have a mask and stuff like that. I really enjoyed it. It was a super fun adult romance, masked gamer. I enjoyed it. Next book is one that I didn't even know till the very end that I've read this before. It's called Suicide Notes, and I thought it was different, probably because I hadn't read it in 10 years, and then there was a different cover on my there was a different cover on Kindle, and I didn't read it in 10 years, but as soon as I got to the end, I realized, oh, I've read this before. Basically, this follows a 15-year-old in a mental hospital going through a 45-day stay, and kind of the people he meets, his inner thoughts, and stuff like that. It's crazy to me, though, that I read this 10 years ago. I still feel the same way about it. I gave it 3 stars. I've read a lot of books like similar to this that are just better. I didn't really enjoy the writing style and things like that. One that you guys are gonna care about. This is Holly by Stephen King. I can't tell you the premise because it'll spoil the whole Bill Hodges trilogy for you. But I was super happy to be back. I have her as a character. So excited. I'm excited for the other book that he's come out with recently, Never Flinch. But I really enjoyed Holly. I gave it 3.5 stars. The mystery went in a way that I wasn't expecting initially, so yeah, I enjoyed it. Next here I have Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. I've never read one of his books before. I really wanted to. He has a lot of stuff out there that looks really good. This one's about wayward girls, so girls that grow up too fast for whatever circumstances. In this case, our main character arrives there, 15, pregnant, very scared. So she meets like dozens of other girls who are all in similar situations at this home. I thought the perspective from Fern, the main character, was fantastic. I forgot this was written by a man because it felt so like you were just in this 15-year-old girl's mind. It felt so accurate. Overall, I did really enjoy it. I am excited to read more work by him in the future. Next up here we have graphic novels and manga. I'm gonna go through this one pretty quickly, but I have In Love in Pajamas. This is just a cutesy little graphic novel. Yourself, but together. Part of a relationship that's just sweatpants, coziness, and being together. Next, I read Happiness, volumes 1 through 8. This is a manga series that is about vampires. So we follow our main character who has his first week of high school, and he meets this girl, vampire. She offers him this choice. He's got to make his choice, and then everything kind of goes from there. I didn't really love these. I read 8 of them, so I liked it enough to keep reading, but would I go out and purchase them with my own money? No. Would I keep reading them? Not unless they're on Kindle Unlimited. If they're on Kindle Unlimited, maybe I'll keep reading them. I didn't love them enough to go purchase them. Next up here we have Roots by Tara O'Connor. This one's actually a graphic novel memoir. I really like that it was set in Ireland. It's just about a woman kind of finding herself. I gave this 3 stars. I enjoyed the art style and the romance, and I thought it was pretty good. Next year I have Living with Mochi. This is just a cute doggy graphic novel. I really liked it. It was fun. It was cute. Next year I have Happily Ever After. This is just a very relatable, cute couples graphic novel similar to the first one that I talked about. This one talked about like appreciating the more mundane moments that you guys have together. I thought it was great and I enjoyed it. It was pretty funny as well. I read Unfamiliar. I just read the first volume. I gave this one a decent rating, 4 stars. I gave this one a 4 stars. Basically it's a witchy debut graphic novel. It has haunted houses and ghosts, and the art style was really nice. I really liked the story. I would have kept reading if the rest of them were on Kindle Unlimited, but they weren't. But yeah, I'd recommend checking that one out if you're into witchy stuff. Here I have Flowers of Evil. I read the first 2 of these. They were just on Kindle Unlimited, to be real. Our main character, he focuses on reading more than school, but then the class bullies the one who gets A's. They have an interesting dynamic. That's what kind of happens. I wouldn't continue with these. I only gave them 3 stars each, but wouldn't continue with them. Didn't really enjoy them that much. Now we got to the fucked up shit novellas that I have to talk about. I'll talk about a few that are more minor, and then I'm going to talk about some other ones. But I got into what we call, I got into splatterpunk This whole genre I didn't know existed. Extreme horror, this is not like any other horror book you've read. This is like, goes beyond the line. We go beyond the line here. They always have a ton of warnings at the beginning, a ton of trigger warnings at the beginning. I'm gonna recommend that even if, before you even buy one or look into one, that you look at the trigger warnings first. We have 20th century screening. So basically there was a slasher movie called The Roofer. This movie, fans tried to copy it, kind of like with Scream, you know, violence, does showing something violent cause more violence? So people tried to copy the movie Murders. 16 people passed away because of this. 20 years later, we got the 20th century screening of this movie, and it's about what goes down with that. Like this topic, again, it's similar to Scream, like the topics in the Scream movies. Movies equals violence and how that affects other people, and people using films as an excuse to enact violence. But also like the history of the movie theater that they talked about and that kind of thing I found interesting as well. Next we have The Visitor by Sergio Gomez. Christmas novella, sci-fi type thing. Basically this is about 5 strangers who all get stuck in a diner together, and the 6th visitor is somebody, and that remains a mystery, and shit happens. I thought this one was okay. I gave it 3.5. I read another Sergio book next that I didn't like as much as this one, but I thought The Visitor was pretty good. The other one is Camp Slaughter. So this was a group of college kids rents out a cabin, local legend of someone slaughtering campers, and there being a cannibal in the woods is kind of what this one is all about. I didn't enjoy this one as much as I thought I would, which is okay, but I gave it 2 stars. Okay, now we have the other ones. Some of these I have, like, I want to talk about in depth, but I also don't. And then, anyways, first up, Are Your Parents Home by John Athen. Little families, parents attend a work party. 18-year-old Ella is in charge of both of her siblings, 13-year-old Nicholas and 8-year-old Ariana. And to make things better, they're at a secluded lake house like that. Parents gone, just the older sibling taking care of the 2 younger ones. Stranger knocks on the door. They don't answer it, but the stranger appears to be mumbling, saying things, saying a lot of derogatory things. Also says that he's meant to be with our main character, Ella. He says like, oh, I'm meant to be with, like, imagine somebody at your door that you don't know knocking and then being like, oh, I'm meant to be with you. Disgusting. Basically, it's a home invasion novella. I gave it 2.5 stars. That doesn't mean it wasn't good. I was on the edge of my seat for the whole thing. But it's a lot. Again, I'll have the trigger warnings, but I thought it was a lot. Next here, I have a book that I gave 1 star to, which I don't give 1 stars very often. But this is called 100% Match. Follow our main character, Bart, who is disgusting. He does really bad things. He's like a fry cook at a restaurant, and then he does bad things there. He's just awful. The most uncomfortable reading experience I've ever had. Ever. But yeah, it was fucking disgusting. I hated every second of this book. There's a lot of things like animal cruelty in it, a lot of vomit, stuff like that. Wasn't really into it. Wasn't really into it. Wouldn't recommend this. It does have some okay reviews, but I couldn't. I never want to read something this disgusting again, even though I probably will read something worse at some point. So this is one I couldn't rate. I don't even know how to rate this, but it was something I was invested in the whole time, but I didn't know how to rate it overall. This is No One Rides for Free. Think in the car, at the gas station, somebody hops in this backseat with you. Some really old, some really creepy man pops into the back seat, opens the door, jumps in your car. They have a weapon, so the driver, Jody, the mom, doesn't really have a choice. It's, okay, this creep is gonna be in my car because he's threatening us with a gun now. Not only does he have a gun, but he has a big knife, and then he has a bag of what he calls toys, which makes everybody wonder what the fuck is in that bag. Like, it's like Terrifier and his little, like, garbage bag. It's like, what's in there? We don't want to know what we want to know. Basically, stuff gets really bad really fast. There's a lot of torture, vomit, incest, and even like the description or whatever, it says Jody and her children will soon pray for death because of how bad this situation gets. I got 2 more left. I got Rest Stop by Nat Cassidy. Basically, Rest Stop is another horror extreme novella, and it's about our main character who gets locked in the bathroom in a rest stop. and there's the horror of what he's experiencing in this room, what he's going through in there, what he sees in there, and then whatever's happening behind the door and the horrors of that. But it's a mystery whoever locks him in there. So either way, horrible situation. He's got to figure it out. I thought it was pretty good. I gave it 3.5 stars. Definitely an interesting read. Okay, last but not least, we have Womb. This one, it's about a little motel that has its own secrets. We follow our main character who hires a prostitute and then just talks to her forever and she tells him like all his secrets. No, the prostitute's just like, well, I'm getting paid for you just to talk. Sure, whatever. Things kind of escalate from there. A new level of body horror that I've not seen before. It was a lot. Like, if you've read this book, you know what I'm talking about, but like, I've never read anything like that. Never. There you guys have it. Those were all the books that I've read so far this year, so we'll see what I read for the later half of the year. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I would like to put out more videos, but we'll kind of see how things go. Either way, I hope you're doing well. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to comment like a black heart down below, give it a like, whatever you'd like. Thank you guys so much for all your support, and I'll see you super soon. Bye.